Good evening, everybody. Welcome to an edition of Bridgeside Sports, live from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. I'm Phil Cagliostro, as always joined by Winal Colombano and Christopher Ventra. Today, finally got March Madness out of the way, I guess. We could lead with something. Congratulations to North Carolina for winning. Nice redemption season for them. And also, I won my bracket because of them, so thank you, North Carolina.
Congrats.
But anyway, like last week, we were talking about we got one season ramping up and one season ramping down. So I want to start with the season that just started up. We got a week of baseball in. We got to see the Yankees. We got to see the Mets. We got to see two series go. What are their thoughts? The Yankees had some news, some bad news for both the Yankees and my good friend Alan Colombano about on the Gary Sanchez front. So how do you feel about Gary Sanchez, man?
Hurts, man.
So as a Yankee fan, or does it hurt more as a Yankee fan or as a fantasy baseball player?
Both. Fantasy player, I took him rather early, as the people on
rather
the stage
early?
know. Very early.
First round?
In a keeper league with a lot of Yankee fans,
Pick overall?
All right.
There's nothing wrong with it. You can't expect him to get injured.
Not everybody knows the ins and outs of all leagues. Let's just leave it at that, okay? But, no, they're with Sanchez out for a month, bicep?
It's actually the
Bicep
brachialis
strain.
muscle. It's actually the brachialis. I was just looking at the
Oh, yeah?
the MRI.
Physical
It's like
therapist.
the brachialis muscle, which a rare muscle to pull. It is an elbow flexor. It's deeper than the bicep, so the strain's a little bit deeper.
They're saying 4 weeks.
Yeah, I saw 4 to 6 weeks. That's
Sound
about
about
right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. As long as it's healing properly and everything. Not a common muscle to strain. So let's see.
I
he
saw
should
on
be
that
fine.
swing, you could tell right
He
away.
should be- I mean,
It's just
give it
throwing
time,
on,
but
too.
it's 4 to 6 weeks.
I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I
I
you
won't
can't
take it.
take it because you know what?
It's a third
First
of the
of all-
season. It's a quarter of the season.
First of all, the series against Baltimore, they could have won all 3 of those games. They blew the game on Friday.
That's a 6
completely. They were up 5-1. They blew the game on Saturday again. They were up 2-0 with Tanaka going, and then on Sunday, of course, they're losing. Baltimore blows the game and they come back.
Yeah.
And Judge hit a homer. Judge got 2 straight games with a homer.
Right.
But,
They came back both those
That
games
was a bad
against
series.
Baltimore.
That was a bad series for the Yankees. This last weekend in Camden.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean, what did we take? 2?
We only took 1. We lost 2 or 3. What I'm saying, and
No, we won 2 straight.
no, we only won the one on Sunday. We lost on Friday and we lost on Saturday. We were up 5-1.
Yes, we won today.
Yes, we won
That's what I'm
today.
saying.
I'm talking about the
Okay.
Orioles series, though.
Yeah, the Orioles series.
The Orioles series was bad. Well, on Friday, we were up 5-1. The Yankees were up
Yeah,
5-1. Severino was actually looking good. I don't
Severino
know if you
did
guys.
look well.
He
He
gave up
pitched
the home
well.
with the Manny Machado.
It's just a
Manny
good
Machado's
hitter.
going to beat you every
He's a
now
good
and
hitter.
then.
He
And,
tried to get in on him and couldn't.
Yeah.
He was
But it was
pitching well
still
before
5.
that.
But it was still 5-4. It was still 5-4. Chapman hasn't even come close to a game yet. He pitched on Sunday.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even a save situation.
Right.
They didn't get to Chapman. The problem was they didn't get to Chapman on Friday. Clippard gave up the home run.
Right.
So they didn't get Betances or Chapman. So that was the problem with Friday.
Betances has to stop going with his breaking ball so much.
Yeah, he goes
He-
break ball a lot.
He likes to throw it, and
And he hung that curveball a couple times.
don't get me wrong. It's a great pitch.
Right.
But when you throw that hard, he's always
You gotta
loving
play
it.
off of it,
Curveball,
yeah.
curveball. Throw your fastball.
Yeah.
Spot your fastball. You hit it 98
He
I
hung
was
miles
about
an
to
hour.
say. He's throwing
He did it
He
twice,
does guys a
too.
favor. He does guys a
shouldn't have
favor.
did it after the first time he hung it.
Yeah.
But this isn't just this year. It's for the last
Last year
3
he did it
years.
all the time.
It's
Oh, yeah.
constant. He'll have a guy. He'll blow 2 fastballs by a guy. Come back 30 seconds later and hang a curveball. He's just speeding up his bat head. Throw the ball by the guy, or bury one.
Yeah.
Bury
Yeah.
one in the dirt. But with that being said, I think the Sanchez injury is obviously going to hurt him. Romine,
He's
he's
not
a
Sanchez.
backup. He's not even close. And Bird being out too.
Bird's held out of the lineup
3 games in a row
today
now.
as well.
Yeah. These little injuries here and there. I mean, they won today to 3-4. I think winning
Cures a lot of
Sunday.
things.
Winning Sunday was big.
We could be 5-2 right now, though.
Yeah,
2
but
games we lost from comebacks, right?
yeah, I hear you, but that's going to happen throughout the year.
It's
true.
To come back Sunday and win that game, not get swept by Baltimore early in the year. Granted, there's 155 games left, but there are still things that you don't want to have happen. And to get swept by a team you're going to be fighting for throughout the
For a
year, the
playoff
division,
spot,
is huge.
Tanaka 0-2 though too.
Yeah,
Lost again with him on the mound.
yeah, and
And
we,
he's throwing gas.
He was throwing
too. That's the other
97.
thing.
Well, we got to talk about these guns because I don't know if you heard, but they were saying that
They're adding miles
they're
per hour,
all
right?
standardized now. So it's not
Yeah.
They're
just
connected.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just each individual ballpark. They're all standardized. So since they got all standardized, they were estimating that it's about 1 mile an hour more than you'd expect. but he was still throwing gas. The 97, 96, 97.
He
That's
hit 98
still,
a couple times.
That's still gas. He's throwing that. But they slayed him to a 2-0 lead.
Which
Yeah.
is something you haven't seen from Tanaka.
Yes.
Yeah.
You haven't seen that from Tanaka since the first year he came up before he hurt his elbow.
Exactly.
You know, he was consistently, when he came that first 3-4 months, he was 95, 96, 97. And then after he hurt his elbow and he elected not to get the surgery, he's 92, 93. Yeah. If he's consistently 95, 96, he's a completely different pitcher. Like you said, he's 0-2, but he was absolutely dominant those first 3 months.
He was.
Like,
that was the best we've seen in Tanaka.
The best you've seen by far. Don't get me wrong, the last couple of years have been good, but not to the point where, you know, what he came up as, what he came from. Tanaka, I remember listening to Boomer, Tanaka Tuesday. It was it was insane. And don't get me wrong, he's been good, but not
He's
like
not
he
his
was.
dominant self. And you know what's funny? Usually his only issue would be he would nibble and walk some guys once in a while. That would be his issue. And that's not the case. He's getting shelled at times. You know what I mean? He's getting beat.
He's getting too much of the plate right
he's
now.
getting too much of the plate. He's actually not nibbling at all almost.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's putting it right where in their wheel zones a lot of the time. So it's interesting. But you know what? Sabathia's pitching like he did
He
last
got 2
year.
wins.
He's pitching solid.
Well, they've
right?
won twice with him on the
right.
mound.
He's only given up 3 runs. I think the last outing and the outing before that, what was it? Same thing, 2 or 3 runs? 4 runs?
No runs. The first
No runs
outing.
the first? There you go. So
5 innings pitched, no 1
he's
run.
pitching well, and that's great for a 4-starter. The key is Pineda, who pitched unbelievable.
Fantastic.
today.
I meant to,
Unbelievable today. I
11,
watched the whole game.
11 strikeouts, only 2 hits.
2 hits. I think one walk, was it? I think
He had a
maybe one
perfect
walk.
game throughout. Six
That's what I was gonna
six
say.
and a third.
Mm-hmm.
Until
had it
Gore got
going
a
for
hit.
a
You gotta-
while.
You can't ask for more than that.
No, exactly.
I mean,
but we need him to be consistent.
his stuff is
He
filthy.
can do that. That's
Exactly.
the problem.
He did stuff like that last year.
He can do that.
11
he
Ks.
does it often.
Crazy.
Not often. I won't say. That's the problem.
But
He
he
doesn't do
does
it
it.
often. He can do that.
Does it
but
every other start, maybe.
Talking about
Or,
consistency.
every 3.
It's consistency. He doesn't have the consistency. If
But
he has the
him
consistency,
and Severino.
that's a dangerous. That could be a much better rotation than we're looking for. And
exactly.
that's the weakest part of the team right now.
Exactly. And that's the key because let's say Tanaka does have a rough patch.
Yeah.
You can't expect it, especially the way Tanaka looks right now, you can't expect him to be dominant the rest of the year at all.
Yeah.
So when he's down and we lose a game with Tanaka on the mound, we need Severino and Pineda to pick him up. Because those are our 2 and 3 guys. Really.
And look,
we haven't even seen our 5th starter yet.
Severino and
We haven't even
Pineda?
seen our 5th starter yet.
Severino, Pineda, Sabathia. I mean,
That's our 4, yeah.
Those are your 4 along with Tanaka, and I know we alluded to this in earlier episodes in the season. Tanaka has to pitch like an ace for the Yankees to be good. Pineda,
He could look like an ace. Look what he did today.
Sabathia, those are your 2A, 2B, 2 and 3, and then Severino. You really don't know what you're going to get from him because last year, let's face it, he struggled.
He did well
starting.
the last start.
Yeah, he pitched
Besides
well,
that
but he
pitch
also
to Machado.
he
he
gave
was
him 4
encouraging.
runs, 4 runs in 5 and a third. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
not a
not
quality
exactly
start. It's
great.
not
But before that, it was 1 run.
It was
before that,
encouraging,
homer.
though.
It was encouraging.
It was
yeah.
encouraging.
I get it.
agree. I understand.
You know.
And they still won that game. He did leave the game with a lead, though. He was in line for the win.
Right.
So it was still an encouraging start. But like you do need a little bit more from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we can switch to the crosstown team. We got the Mets.
Mets started
The
well.
3 and 3.
I'm not sure what the record, but
We're 3 and 3. Coming
there we
around.
go.
3 and 3.
There we
There's
go.
the producer, the Met fan.
They're coming around.
Um,
They're off. Oh no, they're playing right now. They're
Jay Bruce.
down 2-1.
I was all over. I was all over Jay Bruce preseason too.
He thought it was
Yeah.
horrible.
Give it time.
But it's so early.
Give it time. Well,
I mean, a lot of guys are ripping right now that probably aren't going to be ripping a month from now. So
the thing you got to talk about in terms of the Mets is Syndergaard.
Singer looked dominant last night.
He's a dominant ace.
Yes, that.
I said that's the difference.
Yeah, he was dominating the entire game, except for 1 inning. And the hits that he gave up weren't hard hit balls. It just happens. You give up a base hit here, and Rene Rivera was throwing peas all over the. I don't know if you guys saw the game.
He's 1,000
He was
times better than
throwing
Darno.
everyone out.
But Darno's hitting.
Darno needs to take some pointers with that from that guy. Because Darno was trash.
Darno hits. Don't get me wrong, but or he's supposed to hit. I think he will be a better hitter than Rivera, but
He better be a better than Rivera.
Yeah.
Because then he's not playing.
Defensively, Rivera's got a bazooka behind the plate.
He was
He's got a
throwing it
very
right.
good arm.
He threw out Gordon at third, who had a good jump too. Threw him out right. He threw a guy out at second. He was on fire last night, Rivera, and that's the only thing that could, get Syndergaard going. He doesn't really hold big guys on. If you got a guy
That's
throwing
one of his
guys out
flaws,
like
yeah.
that, then that's his biggest weakness right now. Is Syndergaard is you guys
That's
guys
his
can
only
run on him.
big flaw right now.
Now, if you got a guy throwing guys out like that and they can't run,
Helps him a lot. Yeah, helps the team. Yeah.
yeah. That was.
I mean, they're going to be a good team. I mean, Atlanta. I think even from what I've seen so far with Atlanta, they're not going to threaten the Mets or the Nationals this year. I don't think Miami will, and I think the Phillies are actually the one team that might be a surprise. And I was going to say that when we were doing AL predictions. I was going to say the Phillies are the only team that are interesting because you know what? Their rotation, Hellickson, Eichhoff, Nola, Vincent Velasquez, that's not that bad. It's not that bad of a rotation.
It's not bad, but it's a lot of
question marks. A lot of
Hellickson, I mean...
Hellickson's their most reliable veteran.
And
think about that.
And that's saying
something.
I know
that
Hellickson was on Tampa Bay for years. He stunk. You know, I mean, now you're talking about Hellickson. I mean,
but it's a solid overall rotation.
Are they a 500 team? You think they...
I think they'll be better than 500. Around 500, maybe better. Yeah, around 500.
That's a lot, I think.
Because, the bats with them, I don't know. A lot of it rides on Odubel Herrera and Michael Franco and guys like that. And it's just
a lot of question marks.
That's a problem.
Franco's supposed to be good.
They're a young team.
I actually like their rotation better than their offense, to be honest with you. But they could be good in a couple of years. I'm saying they might threaten, but it's really a Mets-Nationals race. So the Mets shouldn't be worried. 3-3 start. It's a good start for them. It's early. It's very early.
What the Mets are worried about.
Harvey threw great.
Harvey
had a good start.
I mean, looking
besides
really good.
Matt Kemp.
And it was really cold that day too. I was surprised. It rained that day. It was cold.
That one day.
Two.
He looked good. Harvey looked good. Man, look, DeGrom. He gave up 2 runs today. They're losing. What? The Mets are still losing 2-1.
Wheeler got shelled though.
Wheeler got shelled. It was his first start since 2014.
I know.
And I think
that's scary when you think about it.
Think about that.
That's really
his
scary.
First start since 2014. Missed all of 2015 with the Tommy John, and then last year he never got back from the Tommy John. So
yeah.
So let's give him some time to try to get in. I don't know how much he's got left in the year. He's probably going to be on an innings count, obviously.
100, 120 innings probably.
Gelsman doesn't look too bad when he starts. You got to get Matz to come back. But I don't.
But as long as you got those 3, because DeGrom obviously looks great. So those 3, Syndergaard, DeGrom, Harvey. Right now they look good.
Yeah,
and that's what you need. And then Mets eventually comes
and most
back.
of them look better than good, too, which is
right,
really
which is
good.
Great. Exactly. So they'll be fine, the Mets.
And obviously their lineup has to hit. I mean, Familia will be back in another 10 games or so.
You're right.
15 games.
Right.
Once you get
he's got 9 games.
you get Reed
that
back
was a great blessing for the Mets.
I don't know about
15
Hansel
games
Robles. I mean, I feel like every time that guy comes in the game, he puts up decent numbers, but I feel like
what about Reed?
Spots,
Did you hear about that suspension, though, with Familia, with the 15 games? I was reading that MLB and the Players Union kind of negotiated because if he missed more games than the 15 games, he would have lost a year of arbitration eligibility.
Really?
Yeah, so it was kind of like...
behind the scenes
It was kind of like a compromise with the suspension.
It was almost like, all right, we'll suspend you for this.
We'll suspend you, but we'll make sure that you don't get hurt with your...
But...
contract.
Chapman the year before got 30.
Yeah, well...
If you remember.
I know.
Because his wife dropped the charges?
No, they both dropped the charges, but Chapman also fired a gun.
Oh, that's right.
So it was a little bit more.
About that. Yeah,
and I think Chapman
joke.
Chapman was just like, just give me the 30. I don't even want to deal with it anymore. And he just got the 30.
And I think that's why the
15.
Yankees got him.
30.
Oh, just having Chapman, yeah.
Yeah, that's why they were able to get him for a little bit on the cheap with the trade because you knew you were gonna. The Reds knew they weren't going to get him for the first month, and the Reds weren't looking to go anywhere.
Right.
They still aren't really looking.
Oh,
to go
they're
anywhere.
horrible. Yeah.
They're a young, I guess.
I mean, they could hit.
Rebuilding team, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
right?
they could hit. But they have 3 rookies
to go a little national. Chris, who's leading the NL West right now?
Who's leading the NL West?
You gotta know this off the top of your head. You gotta know off the top of your head.
I think that was a rhetorical
I needed a
question.
second. I know the way you looked at me, but yes, I was going to bring that up actually.
Sure you were.
I was going to say, so our 2 outlandish, well, not outlandish, but our 2 outside predictions. Well, yours was Seattle, mine was Arizona. But I think that's going to flip flop soon because Arizona's hot and obviously Seattle's a little cold. Right? They blew a few games here and here and there, and their offense doesn't look so great. I mean, today I think they won 6-0, so that was a good win for them. But I think Arizona's just looking a little bit too good right now. They're going to be good, though. You could tell. I watch every one of their games so far. They look pretty damn good.
The Twins are leading the AL Central, too.
I know.
5-1.
But listen, I mean, sometimes teams, they come together. Pollock was out all the year.
I know.
Tomas was out a lot of the year.
Look,
Peralta. All these guys came back, and now look at the lineup. The lineup's pretty good.
Their lineup is good, but it's going to come to their pitching. That's the
You even got Brandon Drury. That kid's good, too.
He's a stud.
Is that Chris Drury's brother?
Ex-Ranger great.
Hobie Baker Award winner?
But they lead the league, right, in wins right now?
They're 6-2.
Okay.
I think Arizona's going to be good, but in that division, like we said earlier in our second episode, Giants Dodgers.
Yeah.
Giants
I know,
Dodgers.
that's
Still
what you
give them
guys
some
think, I know.
time. It's still obviously
It's still very early in the season.
extremely early. into the
Extremely
baseball
early in the
season.
season. When you think about it, you
They
compare.
swept the Giants, though, right? Or they took 2 out of 3.
I
They just
think
played
they
the
took
Giants,
2 out of 3.
Arizona.
Yeah, no, I think they took 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. But I'm not.
Yeah, they
can't
might have.
quote
'Cause-
me on
And
it.
how
they
bad
had one loss. They were
on
6-1 before
on
that.
on another note, staying in the NL West, how bad are the Padres? I told you that team is horrendous.
3 and 4.
Oh, yeah, no, they're horrible.
That team is horrendous. They're 3 and 4,
Oh.
and the games they've lost by like
Fantasy
30
tips start
runs.
any pitcher facing the Padres. Is that fair to say right
Yeah,
now?
playing the
Yeah, I
Rockies
started
tonight.
chat with today.
Yeah.
How many teams do you have with
Well,
Chapman?
problem.
we are going. A nice little
I
segue.
have probably in DFS tonight, out of 150, I think 65 teams with chat with.
Good. I wanted to go into fantasy anyway. So why don't we kick it over daily fantasy? What are you looking for daily fantasy today and maybe this week?
Well, tonight we did me and Matty Galuzzo, who's one of our, backstage producers. We worked on a 2-game slate. We worked on a 5-game slate. We tried to do a big slate actually last week. We tried to do 15 games, or like it was like not 15 games, like
Sventra?
10 games maybe, something like that, and it was impossible. We tried to make 150 teams with that. I mean,
There's so many
too many
combinations,
combinations to do. Did like we all our guys hit too. All of them hit here and there, but you need the perfect combo. So
Yeah.
that's why I say stick to the late slate. Tonight it was Colorado, San Diego, and LA, Chicago, which LA, Chicago's in a delay right now. But,
they still in delay?
Which I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know if we just I don't know how it works with DFS. Honestly, it never happened to me before. A delay, if it gets postponed, I guess we lose all those guys' stats, and the game still goes. That's something I got to find out. But
Oh, you're the
maybe
animal.
now I'll
If you're
find out.
supposed to be a DFS
I mean
guy.
that I don't know. I never looked that one up.
That never happened to you before.
No.
A game
had a
never
game
got
that
rained
rained
out.
Not when I was playing DFS. No.
Never once. What do you
Not
only
a
pick?
postpone, no.
What, you only pick dome games? I don't understand.
No, well, you're picking 2-game slates sometimes. It's 2 games out of all the games of the day.
Oh, that's
you know what I'm
fair.
saying?
Okay.
So tonight, yeah, San Diego, Colorado. I picked Chow with a bunch. I mean, listen, San Diego ain't as bad as I thought they were going to be. I watched a bunch of their games. I've watched all the games so far. I bought MLB TV.
Yangarvis Solarte is batting third or fourth.
He's hitting well. He's not a bad hitter.
Yeah, 7
He's
games
batting
is-
third.
He's batting third, I think.
So
Batting
what are
third.
what are the recommendations for DFS tonight?
well, tonight's over, but
So going forward
let's
into the
go.
week.
Let's go.
then.
Let's go tomorrow. So tomorrow's Tuesday. I'm sure you're gonna have a nice 2-game slate tonight. There's always a nice 2-game slate for like 9, 10 o'clock
Yeah.
at night every day.
Well, today you had less games to begin with.
Yeah, today was
Mondays, Thursdays always your lighter
usually
games.
a shorter slate, right? So tomorrow, you got the day slate. I wouldn't recommend doing anything really during the day unless it's a 2, 3, or 4-game slate. No more than 4 games.
So maybe
I wouldn't do
if
4 games.
only a couple teams have an afternoon game or something, can you do
Yeah,
that?
you got a 1 o'clock game tomorrow
Yeah.
with Twins Tigers, and then you got a 4 o'clock and a 7 o'clock. They might do a 2-game slate for 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So that'd
Possibly.
be right,
I gotta
that's right
look.
up your alley.
Yeah, so you do something like that. Or if you want to go late, tomorrow night's late night games, you got Rangers Angels at 10, you got Astros Mariners at 10:10, and you got Diamondbacks Giants. You got a 3-game slate, which might be a good tournament.
Those are
Might be bigger
those
prizes.
Are 3 very good games.
3 very good games. So you got a good, nice 3-game slate tomorrow. Tomorrow night you got Robbie Ray versus Samardzija, Diamondbacks Giants.
Okay.
You
Good
got
pitching
Joe
matchup.
Musgrove versus Ariel Miranda. You want
That's
the
an over-
Astros lineup
that's an
in
over
that
game.
Yeah, you want the Astros lineup in that game. And then you got Hamels versus Tyler Skaggs. I'm thinking you're going to want Hamels and the Rangers. A lot of Hamels, a lot of Rangers.
So would
versus
you
Tyler
stay
Skaggs.
away from the hitters in that Giants Diamondbacks game since the pitches are pretty good, or would you say, or the
I think you could
Diamondbacks
go some
hot? You want to go
Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks?
Yeah, I think you go some Diamondbacks hitters.
So you like Ray more than Samardzija?
Well,
Samardzija,
the
sorry.
thing is, I like the Diamondbacks hitters versus Samardzija more for a
Samardzija.
simple reason. Robbie Ray, very high K rate, very high walk rate.
Okay.
Chances are most of these guys are going to either walk a K, and maybe a couple guys are going to have a good day at the
You know
dish with
what
the
though?
bat, but-
Robbie Ray's a guy to have if you are in a big tournament.
Yeah,
Only for
'Cause
the
of the
simple
Ks.
for the
Yeah.
Ks, and he's capable of giving you 7
Plus-
innings with 11
Plus,
strikeouts.
you don't get
Pineda.
minus points for walks. You don't get minus points for hits. You only
No,
get
yeah.
minus points for earned runs.
That's what I'm saying.
So he's
And-
a possibility. Yes,
And to top it off, he's pitching in San Francisco. So
Right.
tomorrow,
Pitcher's ballpark.
big time
yes.
in his ballpark.
I'm sorry, pitcher's ballpark.
yes,
Pitcher's
pitcher's
ballpark.
ballpark, big gaps.
Hard to hit a homer there.
Right field, which makes what bonds it even more
was gonna
impressive
say.
in that field.
Yeah, exactly.
He was playing ping pong with the right field stands.
Not the right field stands. The
bay.
The bay outside.
Splash hits.
Yeah,
The
you're in
splash
San
hits.
Francisco. It could be a good one, Robbie Ray. He might be, out of all these pitchers tomorrow night, those 6. I mean, Hamels is obviously the best, I think.
Yeah.
Because the Angels lineup is also very weak.
Okay.
But
You got to stay away from
besides
the big boys.
Hamels,
Stay away from
you're
Trout.
right.
Stay away from Pujols.
Yeah.
Stay away from Calhoun and you know.
Pujols. I think Pujols has one hit this year, man.
He
Relax
still
with
have a
Pujols.
Pujols.
He hit
He still
the
had a
other day.
Pujols.
You saw that comeback? Yeah, that comeback was crazy.
Yeah.
7
The
runs.
Angels.
7 in the ninth. What was it, 7?
I don't
It
know
was 7.
exactly, but it was a lot. They had a huge comeback. They ended up winning that game walk-off. Cliff Pennington.
Nice.
Anyway,
boy.
Yeah, but no. What lineup would you think would have the best day out of those 6 though tomorrow? Astros, Mariners.
I'd probably
Rangers?
go Mariners. I'm sorry. Astros.
Astros, right? Because
Yeah.
they have the best matchup.
Astros.
Too.
And they might have the best lineup, too. Springer's playing great right now.
Mazzara.
You got.
I mean, I'm
no,
sorry,
he's
not
on the
Mazzara.
range. He's on the range, but
Correa.
Correa's always good.
Altuve.
The usual
Altuve's always good.
suspects. I mean,
Yeah.
Gaddis, if he's
That's
playing.
what I'm
I
saying.
don't know.
You have
Gaddis,
usual
McCann,
suspects.
You'll have
Well,
a catcher.
Ariel Miranda, I think, is a lefty. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong?
You have usual suspects. I'm not sure.
I think he's a lefty. If he's a lefty, that means Gaddis is probably going to play over McCann because McCann's a lefty.
Yeah, Gaddis don't catch much though.
Yeah, maybe he'll DH. Maybe McCann
You
will
probably
catch,
get them
but-
both in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean Beltran's going to play probably because he's a switch.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure
Aaron
Miranda,
lefty.
he's a lefty, right? So yeah, I mean Gaddis is a good play tomorrow, and he's not
love
owned.
Gaddis.
Yeah.
You want to try to get those guys that
Gaddis
aren't
is-
owned that much.
Gaddis
you know?
is a sneaky guy only for the simple fact
Power.
that power.
Power, right.
He hits 2 out, and he hits two out. He's not. He's a guy who's not going to be owned a lot. Although in a 6-team
He will
league,
be on the winning team, though.
right.
If he
In
hits
a
strongest.
in a 6-team
Oh,
league,
yeah, if he has a big game, yeah.
he might be. He might be probably like 10-15%.
In a 6 what?
In a 6-team tournament,
Right, 6
in
games.
3 games,
3 games.
3
yeah.
games. If he's in the lineup, which when he does play, he's usually pretty productive against lefties.
Yeah, but people, even these good guys, sometimes they're owned less than 30, 20%, even on these small slates. A 3-game slate, I'm going to say he's probably owned about 20, 25%, which is good, which means you want to try to get him in your lineup,
Think it would be that high? I don't think it'd be that high.
It might be. I mean, it depends, It depends on what people want to go. Especially Ariel Miranda on the mound, that might be that matchup's great, for him. So,
On another note, Hap's going tomorrow, my boy.
yeah. I like Hap, too.
He's a
What do
guy.
we talk about J.A. Happ.
Listen, he won 20 games last year. Not a lot of people know about him.
And he pitched well already.
Who are they
Yeah.
facing next week? I'm
They're-
sorry, tomorrow.
I mean, the Blue Jays in general, I think, are a pretty good team. Like, they have a good lineup. And with Hap, as long as he stays away from those big innings where he gets absolutely,
Shelled?
mauled, yeah, then he's all right. I mean, Milwaukee isn't exactly
They're facing Milwaukee. That's a good matchup. Yeah.
Milwaukee's not a high-powered offense at all.
No.
They're at home.
They're home. Mhm. They're 1-5, the Blue Jays. Wow.
Yeah, well,
Surprised.
surprised.
They're
Very
a good team.
surprising.
They're a good team.
Blue
They
Jays?
should- yeah.
Absolutely.
Very
I
good team.
I picked them and the Tigers actually as a wild card and the Red Sox going to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
Sailed for a good game today against Verlander.
But they got swept,
It's a good pitching matchup.
right? Red
Who?
Sox. I think they got swept by Detroit. Didn't
Well,
Detroit
Swept by
Tigers
Detroit. They're
won.
playing them now.
Tigers won today.
Tigers beat them today.
That's what I'm saying.
Tigers
I
beat
think,
'em
yeah,
today.
I think the
Well,
Tigers swept
the
them.
whole
4?
The whole Red Sox
Or
line
maybe
has been
3
out.
out of
The
4,
whole
was it?
Red Sox line has been
No.
out with the flu. Mookie Betts didn't play the whole week last week.
It's going around.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
clubhouse.
Mookie
He
was-
played
with the
Monday.
Orioles.
He played
Ben
Monday.
Kendi got it.
He played
Hanley's
Ramirez.
had it
The whole
for-
team has the
yeah.
flu. So who they got hitting every
That's
game?
true. That's true. But still, I mean,
I
you
know,
know,
you
I
still
think they
wanna win
lost at
games.
least 3 versus the Tigers. Tigers are 4-2. So I mean,
Any surprises to start the year in fantasy? I mean,
any surprises in
I
regular baseball too?
Well, in fantasy too. I mean, I loved Mark Reynolds.
Mark
Just
Reynolds.
exploding.
Well, that's
onto the
because
scene.
Desmond, is on the shelf.
I know. Well, you play good enough. That's
You realize Mark Reynolds was like almost a 40. Was he 40-40, I think?
No,
gonna
no.
say that.
He was
I thought he
40-38 or
was.
something.
40.
He came
yeah.
ridiculously close.
He had an unbelievable amount of bags and like 40 home. Yeah, like
I remember like, who is this guy?
some crazy. Something
This
crazy.
is going back probably 7-8 years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
right?
it was 20. Was it
No, it
28
was-
homers or more homers
No, it was
than that?
close.
No.
Nah,
He was
he might have
very
been
close
40-40.
to 40-40. He was very close. Can you look it up?
I think it was
looking it up
40,
right
close
now.
to 40-30 though. I think.
No.
No.
He didn't get 40-40.
He,
He didn't
hit
get
like
40-40.
240 and he
No.
struck out 700 times.
Yeah, he struck
but
out
he was
two-
close to 40.
In 2009, he struck out 223 times,
Is that the most ever?
but he hit
No.
44 home runs and he stole 24 bases.
Yeah.
all it
See,
was?
Yeah, it was
he
20.
sold 24,
Yeah.
hit
That
44.
That was his high?
I'm looking at
But that's still ridiculous. 44
Yeah,
homers,
I don't
24
believe that.
bases.
Was
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's all he was 20. Why am I thinking he gets so many more?
I thought he was close.
not a
I
base
thought he was
stealer.
close.
I know he's not a
Yeah.
base stealer,
24,
which is why I was so
24
shocked.
steals is pretty good, and
Yeah.
44 home runs. I mean,
They let him
he
go.
struck out 223 times. He bat 260. He
But
led
that
the
is a
league in
surprise.
strikeouts 4 straight years. I mean, you actually have to be pretty good to lead the league in strikeouts. Because if you struck out enough,
have to have that
they
many
just
bats.
bench you. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, you suck.
Yeah.
Get off the field.
Oh, no, I know. Another big surprise. Not a big surprise. I mean, I guess it's kind of a surprise. The guy, Mitch Haniger on Seattle, hitting really well right now. I think he's got 3 or 4 homers already. At least 3.
Yeah.
And he's just
in
straight
the first
ripping.
week. That's
I mean, the
fantastic.
first week,
yeah.
yeah. So that's a guy who's a rookie. He's actually a rookie, I believe. He doesn't even qualify. You know, I don't think he played enough at bats last year. I think he had less than 130 at bats. So I think he's a rookie, and you know he's having a really hot start to the season. I mean, it's somebody who's I know on waiver wires out there in fantasy.
Yeah.
So that's a guy.
That's a guy.
Interesting guy
I
to
think
possibly
Reynolds
pick
is a
up.
guy right now to pick up and to have just, even if it's just a little short term.
Just for a short term,
He's
yeah.
got short-term power going. He's playing in Coors Field.
Brandon Belt went crazy last week.
Brandon Belt.
On the heels of me not drafting him.
How's Tommy Joseph doing?
Horrible. I dropped him.
Dropped him.
I dropped him.
Did you
Disgusting.
drop
He
him?
picked up Mike Napoli.
There was no reason for Fedina to take Brandon Belt. There was absolutely zero reason. That's what happens. You wait to the last round to
Well,
get a
that's why we
first
told you to get
baseman.
Napoli.
And you picked up Napoli.
How's he
Mike
doing? He's doing all right?
No,
broke
my
up,
team's horrible. My team's horrible.
No,
It's one
my
week-
team's bad too.
It's 1 weekend. My team. I'm disgusted with my team.
Mark Reynolds played for the Yankees.
Put it this way: I just
About
picked
that.
up Jed Lowry.
Yeah. You started
He was
Max
hot in the
Kepler
waiver wire.
against me. I saw you.
Oh, I really like Kepler though. Kepler's a guy I really, really like. Last year, he was pretty
stinks.
good. No. Look at his minor league stats. He was a highly touted prospect.
Yeah, what
He was
about
top
Byron
100
Buxton?
prospect.
But what about Byron Buxton?
He's
the other guy in
starting
Minnesota?
so bad. I had to pick up Kepler.
His,
Such a bad start.
His,
to the
no,
year.
his
be
minor
dropping
league
him.
stats.
So I've been
Buxton.
watching him. What?
You'll be
Oh no,
dropping
that guy
Buxton.
was a number 1 prospect for
I
like
know.
2 years straight.
I know.
He still can't hit.
No.
He strikes out every
He's
at bat.
still a big prospect,
Every
too.
at bat he
They
strikes
won't
out.
give up on
I
him.
watch him. I'm like, where's this guy swinging at? He's swinging at the worst pitch. I'm watching it. You're so
It's
so
like-
much talent. What are you doing?
It's like playing MLB The Show, and you just swing at anything.
Just
That's,
swing at
that's Byron
everything.
Buxton.
Terrible plate this one. Yeah, it's like my guy on the show. He's just like that. 105 Ks and like 14 walks.
Sega had a nice first week too.
Yeah,
My boy.
Corey Seager. Well, you know, I feel like
Well,
you
you
know
gotta
he's
expect
gonna.
that, yeah.
He's gonna do that.
No, I know, but nonetheless. I mean,
Nomar Mazara had a big week too.
Mazzara, he had a
Mazara
grand slam,
big
didn't
week.
he?
Yeah, he had a big week. Couple double-digit games,
When you had a-
double-digit fantasy
when
point
you get a
games.
grand slam, it
Yeah,
definitely-
exactly.
It pushes
And then
you
we
up
had
there.
a couple home runs. He had a really big week. So we had a couple of big weeks from people.
The usual suspects in pitching. Arietta after the first week.
Arietta
was the
had a
number
big
one
week.
pitcher.
Keuchel.
Keuchel, Syndergaard had
Syndergaard.
2 good games.
Yeah.
Archer's
Didn't
pitching
get the
well.
win because the Mets didn't get
Archer's
the win.
pitching great.
Archer had 2 good games.
Archer's a good pitcher in
Kershaw
general.
actually.
Pitcher.
Kershaw, he didn't get the win in his second start, right?
He did bad.
Yeah,
he only had
he
10
got-
fantasy
yeah,
points.
he
He
got
was in
knocked out.
Colorado though.
Still
It's a tough
surprising.
start.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't pitch very well in Colorado.
No.
Not a lot of
Not
people
many
do.
people
Not
do.
many
Not a lot of
but
people do. So.
My second round pick, Garrett Cole, not starting off so great. Although he did have to face the Red Sox and the Atlanta, but he should have had a better game versus
And
Atlanta.
Atlanta, you just said how bad Atlanta was.
By the way, the Tigers did take 3 out of 4 from the Red
Very
Sox.
good.
So, I mean, listen, maybe the Yankees do have a shot. I mean, I like the way they've been playing lately with a couple of comebacks. I know Sanchez is hurt, but maybe the Yankees do
After
have a
6
chance.
games, you're
Holiday
changing your
looks
mind?
Great. No, I'm not changing my
Holiday
mind,
looks
but I'm
great.
just saying maybe the Red Sox aren't
You know,
as godly as we think.
On Sunday,
That's
he went
what I
didn't think they were
on
godly,
Sunday,
but
he went
it's-
0 for 0, 5 walks.
0 for 5 walks,
5
yeah.
walks, yeah. That's the most ridiculous stat line.
I don't
Holiday
think.
looks good.
I don't think.
Stalin
they're-
hit well.
I don't think the Red Sox are godly, but
No.
I think their pitching is just that much better than everybody
When
else's.
Price comes back, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, assuming Price comes back healthy, like we said the other day, Price, Porcello, and
Pomeranz comes back tomorrow.
Pomeranz comes back tomorrow, yeah. I started him against you. Off
You
deal.
did. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
I like Pomeranz.
Well, he's got a tough matchup, too, right away. He's facing
Who?
the Orioles. Orioles are a good hitting team.
They are. They're a home
But-
run hitting team, power hitting team.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I don't know. But here's a
good.
question I got for you guys. What do you do when you're playing fantasy for everybody out there? And I could answer this, but I want to see what you guys think. What do you do when, you see all these guys like Mitch Haniger, let's say David Peralta, all these guys that are hot right now, just hitting like crazy. And they have a little talent, so there's a possible breakout potential. Do you jump on the bandwagon right away and pick these guys up and drop guys that you drafted that you had a little hope in? Or do you wait a while? How long do you wait?
It really depends on the guy. Like, I looked at Reynolds to pick up.
Yeah.
I did, yeah. I still think he's going to have a hot week, but
Right.
I got Hanley at first. So it was personally my team. I got Hanley at first. I think he's going to have the better year. He's got the flu right now.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Is he coming back tomorrow, maybe?
Yeah, let's look at the flu's tough to.
I
It's
have
not
him
like
on
an
another
injury. It's
team,
not a
so, yeah.
timetable, but
Yeah, you can't tell.
I dropped Conforto already because I shouldn't have even drafted
'Cause
him
he's a
because
bench
he's a
player.
platoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then if I looked at I didn't pick up Reynolds, and the reason being is because I wanted to see the other guys. The other guys had more potential.
Well, who'd you pick up when you dropped Conforto?
Pomeranz came off the DL.
Okay.
So I dropped Conforto, and So then after that, it came down to I had Castellanos on the bench, but I started him because I like his potential anyway.
And he had 7 games?
And he had 7 games, and he had a pretty good first week. But I like his potential anyway.
Yeah,
I think
like
it's more than
he's got
Reynolds.
a lot of power.
It really comes down to the player. And with our personal league, it's tough to pick up a hitter and drop a pitcher if that hitter doesn't have a lot of potential.
Well,
Right.
So Reynolds, yeah, he's a good short-term guy. I think the short-term guy that you're talking about needs to have a little potential going forward.
Right.
Like you said, Desmond's
Can't
coming.
just have him for a week.
You don't-
Desmond's
he's not gonna
coming
have
back.
opportunity.
Plus, we're in an
Reynolds
auction
has
league.
To, Reynolds has to just go crazy to stay in because Desmond's going to take the job back.
I think.
Exactly.
I think I can kind of sum this up in terms of. I know a lot of people play
Daily fantasy and regular
daily
fantasy.
fantasy and football, right? I think football is a little more popular in terms of fantasy sports than baseball is.
Yeah, I mean, football in general, probably, yeah.
Right, because it's once a week, whatever.
Yeah.
When you think about a big pickup in football early in the year, they happen. Boom, 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 boom. Right? You don't waste any time. Guys, a big
Because
game
it's all about
week
playing
one-
time
A
in
big
football.
game week 1 or 2, somebody gets hurt, he gets scooped
I mean, people
up.
pick up Sean Drone. Kidding
Right.
me?
Baseball isn't like that. Baseball, I think you have to wait a little
look to
longer.
see, yeah.
A guy can get hot and go 12 for
There's
20.
162
Yeah.
games.
A guy can
yeah.
get hot and go 12 for 20 in a week. You're not going to drop somebody you had high hopes for in coming out of the draft.
Speaking of high hopes, Win,
What?
Yes.
where did you think Bruce was going to end up?
You're really hopeful on Jay Bruce, aren't you?
He just hit his second home run before.
Whoa!
Wow.
What score?
4-2 Mets.
Off Jared
Did he
Eichel,
hit
too.
off Eichhoff?
Eichhoff?
What did-
I didn't see.
It had to be. It's early in the game, right?
Nah, it's so early in the game.
What time?
It's
Where is it?
9:33.
I know, but wait.
Game was probably started at 7.
Nah, he didn't hit it off Eichhoff. According
I don't know.
to Fantasy Cast, they didn't, which is good for me because I got my quality start out of him.
But,
That Aaron Nola joke really got me good.
but
That
to
was
bring
funny.
it back to the pickup and just to try
Yeah.
to sum it up with the football, what you're saying, that's what football's different with that,
Yeah.
though. If a guy gets injured in football,
Boom, everybody's on the waiver
not
wire.
even that, but that guy coming in is going to, there's nowhere else that those carries can go. It has to go to the, say, if running back.
You shoot
hurt.
to the running back.
Has
Or
to
the
go-
backup.
But it has to go to that
Somebody,
guy.
yeah.
Has to go. In baseball or basketball, if a guy gets hurt, that production could just be made up by, ancillary positions. Doesn't have to
Other
be the
people, yeah.
outfielder. The third baseman can start playing better. In football, the running back has to do it.
Right.
In basketball, same thing. Guy gets hurt, just another guy is going to just pick up, not the backup point guard, but maybe just the shooting guard's just going to shoot more.
Yeah,
You know?
right. Somebody
So-
else will pick up the slack.
Exactly.
This is the last thing I want to say. I know we got to move on.
Yeah, one of 'em.
I got
a little basketball.
There was one of our followers, Kyle Del Bianco.
Mm-hmm.
He said they're here to stat last year. There were 70 balls hit into McCovey Cove in San Francisco. Now I don't know if this is true. This hasn't been verified, but 35 of them by
Have
Barry
been
Bonds. Bonds hasn't played in 10 years.
That's crazy.
I
Think
need
about
a
Think about
producer.
that.
I need a stat check. I need a stat check on McCovey Cove home runs.
Stand by.
While he's doing that,
We're going to switch to basketball. We did talk about how baseball's just on up, and now basketball. We talked about basketball a little bit last week. Talked about Westbrook,
Yeah.
Harden, and everything. And Westbrook really showed up. So Westbrook did set the record. He got his 42nd triple-double last night, and in exciting fashion, he had 50 points with the triple-double. So that's his third triple-double in his career with 50 points, most all-time.
Yep.
So that's most all-time now.
Crazy.
He has 42 triple-doubles.
year.
He
One
has-
year.
Yeah, he has 42 triple-doubles this season, most
Most
all-time.
all-time.
Now, I know
hit that.
Wynn brought this up. I wanted to bring up career triple-doubles now. So career triple-doubles, you have Oscar Robinson, number 1. Sounds pretty obvious, 181. After that, you have Magic Johnson, 138. That's a whole career.
it's a good number.
Jason Kidd, 107.
Who I said
Yeah.
last week was a big triple-double
Yeah,
guy.
He was. Fourth, Russell Westbrook, 79. So, first of all, he had 42 of them this year. He still got 2 games left. He has 79 triple-doubles in his career so far. That's 4th all-time. He can
How many does LeBron James have?
55.
LeBron's average, I think, is 5.2%. I read a stat. 5.2% of his games
are
he
triple-doubles.
ends up with a triple-double. I think Westbrook at this point is 11%. Even Kidd was lower than that. Kidd was 7 or 8. But it's actually kind of silly when you think about it. He's got 79 triple-doubles for his career, 42 this year, right? I mean, how does that happen?
Insane.
You know
One
what's
guy,
funny, too?
The
It's like
loss
how he
of
said,
one
Durant.
guy,
It's like you just
Durant
said.
leaves, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden,
He
I'm
does
not
everything.
just gonna average 20 and 10. I'm gonna average 30, 11,
And
and
11.
10, just for fun. How does that happen?
You know what's
11
funny?
and
You know
10.
what's even funny?
That's like
Unbelievable.
a baseball player going from
Triple crown.
Yeah. That's like
It's a
going
triple
from
crown.
wow,
Go back to baseball.
he's a really good. I'm just comparing it. He's a really good player in baseball to one of the greatest statistical season of all time. That's like hitting 406 with 75 homers and 200 RBI.
Yeah. Breaking all the records.
Not today's game.
Going back to baseball real quick.
He wanted to
stat
go.
check in. So as far as Wikipedia is concerned, splash hits are recorded only when Giants players, this is the San Francisco Giants, baseball Giants. Splash hits are recorded only when Giants players hit home runs into that land.
So that doesn't even count.
Yeah.
These hits are tallied on an electronic counter on the right field wall.
Right.
As of August 21st, 2016, 71 splash hits have been hit into the bay by Giants players since the park opened. 35 of those were by Barry Bonds.
Well,
There you go. It's a good stat from one of our viewers.
I wonder
One
how
off,
many
so I'm gonna
total-
give
Kyle
it
Del
a
Bianco,
verified
thank you
stat,
so
Kyle Del
much.
Bianco.
Thank you,
35 by Barry Bonds.
but I wonder how many total players hit it in McCovey.
They don't care. They only care about their home team.
But it's interesting. Cause
But even
I don't know why they
even
wouldn't
still,
count
I
that.
mean, because it's a tally for people splash hits.
I know.
You know, back to Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, honestly, and the game
He's
he
got to
hit
win the MVP.
So I'm sorry,
He has
and the
to.
game he hit the 50 points. I don't know if you guys watched last night. He hit the game-winning 3-pointer, and it was like a 40-foot shot. Knocked it right in. The guy's
know.
doing everything.
Game-winning
and
three-pointer.
that
Gets
knocked
the 50 points
That
and the
knocked the
triple-double.
Nuggets out of the playoffs. So the Nuggets were playing hard for that game. He just had triple-double 50 points. He clinched the triple-double. He broke
he
Oscar
brought
Robinson's.
this team to the playoffs.
He broke Oscar Robinson's record. I think it's ridiculous. I think he has to win the MVP.
Yeah, I think.
But I did want to bring you guys to another stat that I found too. There were a couple of stats in basketball today.
Okay.
So Harden came out. I think it's a little tit for tat going on with the MVP. He came out how he said he thinks that wins should be the most important. So they had a stat.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. Well,
Of course he does because
But
his team has more wins.
This is
Five
according.
more.
This is according to the Elias Sports Bureau Research, which is Elias.
which is Elias.
The past 34 MVPs have come from a team that ranked in the top 3 of their respective conference.
And Oklahoma
in
City's
wins.
not. But
Oklahoma's 6.
Houston.
Wow.
Is,
In that stretch, only 2 were outside of the top 2. So only 2 of them were the actual third team, which was Steve Nash in 2005 and Michael Jordan in 1987.
Wow.
Overall, 45 of the 61 MVP winners have finished the season first in their conference.
So guess what?
So-
This is going to be the first one
Only-
without a
yeah.
top 3 place
It's not
in the
going to be the
conference.
first one, but yeah.
So
Didn't you
first
say
one in a long time.
outside-
Sorry,
so
in a
three-
long
outside
time.
of 3?
Yeah,
the
but
top
in a
3?
long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
3/4 of your MVPs have come from a
From a
one
1 seed.
right?
Okay. The last 34 have come
From the 1
at
or 2
least,
seed.
and 3 seed because you include the
the
2
two
people, which were
outliers. Gotcha.
Jordan and Nash.
Gotcha.
So the majority of the top 2. Only 12 of the 61 MVPs winners have had first in triple doubles.
That's
They
unbelievable.
wanted to add that on. So that is the argument. Will he buck the trend?
He
has to.
I think he has to as
He
well.
has to, right? He's gotta.
How could he
I
not?
heard this.
They're making the playoffs.
They are making
They're making the playoffs.
They have
They're in a
46
tough
wins right
conference.
now. They can win 47-48. They can max
I mean,
out at
nobody's
48.
doing what he's
They can
doing.
max it. They're going to be the 6th seed, it looks like.
Speaking of playoffs,
You know,
playoffs. You want to talk about playoffs? Speaking of playoffs, do you think the Cavs Celtics? I mean,
You see the games the Cavs blew?
yeah, no,
The
that's
Cavs,
what
the
I'm
Cavs
talking about.
lost 2 games to the Hawks. All right, we talked about the Cavs versus
they blew a
Celtics.
huge game. What was it,
Hold on.
27 points?
We talked about the Cavs Celtics. They went into Boston and blew out Boston.
Yeah.
They shut down Isaiah Thomas, which is the problem with Boston. They need another scorer to step up when Isaiah Thomas, when
Horford
someone
would
can
be
shut
one
him
of the
down.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's not a main guy. He didn't do it to Atlanta.
No, I know.
So
but
they
that's the guy who
blew
you'd have
out.
to have
They
step
blew
up.
out Boston. Had a day rest. Went to face the Hawks,
Mm-hmm.
and the Hawks didn't start anyone in their starting lineup because of all the resting they were talking about. The Cavs lost. Then they faced the Hawks again, and
Wait,
they're
the Cavs had most of their starting
yes,
lineup?
the Cavs had all their starters.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Hawks had none of their starters. The Hawks won. Then they faced Atlanta again in a home and home, and they lost again. And they blew the game in They blew the game in the fourth quarter, and then the game went into overtime. LeBron fouled out in overtime, which was honestly a terrible call. I saw it looked like he didn't even touch
Yeah.
Horford. He
Which is
fouled out.
surprising, especially on
Yeah.
LeBron.
He fouled out, and then they lost double overtime. So they lost 2 big games to the Hawks. But they got lucky. Boston, they're still tied with Boston.
Yeah, they're both
and they have the
51-29.
tiebreaker. They have the tiebreaker. over
Right.
them.
However, I know the Celtics Nets produced. We had a game in a
Well, it's a conference record?
Celtics Nets. Can you give me an update on that?
I got it right here if we need.
what
I
score?
got it.
What do you got?
Don't producer. I got it. It's a 105-97 Boston, but Cleveland is playing Miami as well.
Miami needs that game
And
big time.
Cleveland rested LeBron and Irving for injuries. Miami's winning 100-97.
You think LeBron was like, oh, let me
Injuries.
help out my Miami fans?
Who plays on that team anymore that he would help him out?
No, the fans,
I'm sorry.
the fans. How bad? I don't know. How bad do you think Dwayne Wade wants to stick it to?
Oh, yeah.
Chicago's in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying.
How bad are the Knicks? That Miami's in the playoffs. I'm sorry.
Knicks
I
are
got to go to the
horrible.
Knicks. Miami is in the playoffs. Miami started terrible.
Wait a
Miami
minute,
does
they're
not have a
in
good
the
team.
Yet, are they?
Okay,
They're
they're
an
fighting
eighth
for
seed.
the
They're an eighth
playoffs.
seed, yeah.
Can we say they're fighting for the
They're
playoffs?
tied with Chicago.
Yeah, they're fighting for the playoffs.
And the
Chicago has the conference record better.
And who do you
Right.
think has a better? If you look at their lineup, the Knicks probably have a better lineup than the Heat.
The Knicks can't even tank the right way.
I know. All this noise said they start winning games.
They can't even tank. Did you see the
The guy Fultz
oh my
from
God.
Washington actually said he'd want to play for the Knicks. He must have had a gun to his head because who the hell would say that? They want to play for the Knicks?
There was a game the other night, and I can't remember off the top of my head. There was a game the other night where a team gave up, I think, 84 points in the first
Yes.
half.
Oh.
Was not this? Oh my God!
The
it was
Sixers
another
did
team.
to the Nets.
The Sixers,
Did
yes,
to the Nets.
To the Nets.
To the Nets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Nets, yeah,
The
that's
Sixers
how-
know how to
that's
tank.
how you tank.
Trust the process.
The Knicks, 84
This goes out
points
to
the Brooklyn
Sam Hinkie.
Nets.
Trust the process, Sam.
Oh, my
all right,
God.
you got to trust him. He tanked. St. Anthony's could beat the
Brooklyn
beat the Nets, and the Nets scored 84 points in the first half. Do you know how hard you have to try to do that? You're right. You're 100% right. You have to
The
try.
Knicks
to
turn
do
around and they win. All of a sudden, Melo,
Sixers-
sit down, go
the
to sleep. Don't come back in the court. We want to lose. Go do
Six-
something right.
The
Well,
Sixers
what is it?
picked up-
Wait, but the thing is,
Hold on, the Sixers
if you
picked up a
tank-
guy. I'm sorry, the Sixers picked up a guy.
He played 30 minutes.
He played 30 minutes. They picked him
30
up
minutes.
the day
He's
before.
on a 10-day contract. 30 minutes. The Knicks, Melo, come on out. Come on. We need you for another 48 minutes. We need these wins.
The Sixers know how to do it.
Wait, but let me ask you a question. So if you tank the season though, and you have the worst record, obviously you get a better lottery.
yes,
right.
But
yeah.
you're not getting the first pick.
You're
it's not guaranteed.
It's
not
right.
guaranteed,
Almost like-
but-
you're
But still, I
almost
get what you're saying,
but you're almost for sure guaranteed a top 3 pick. And for actually, the draft this year is looking pretty good. You have the guy Monk from Kansas. You have Ball from UCLA. You have Fultz from Washington. These guys are good, and a lot of them are point guards. The Knicks desperately need a point
Desperately.
guard.
Oh my God, yeah.
The Knicks just need
For
a point.
years.
Yeah,
For years.
Every time the Knicks, you're like, oh, the Knicks may take this point guard. He goes.
Raymond
right before
Felton
they
might
take
be
it.
their best point guard.
Weren't
in
they
the
a
last
pick
Curry
and Westbrook?
8 years.
and Westbrook.
They wanted
That's
Westbrook,
going
yeah.
to the top of my head.
Yeah.
This is going back to T.J. Ford. Like 15 years ago, they drafted Michael Sweetney.
They took Jordan Hill too.
Jordan, that's another horrible draft pick. It's amazing how bad. There are people who are
We're
Mets,
bashing them bad here.
Jets, Knicks.
What good can you say
Islander
about the
fans.
Knicks? Say something good about the. Yeah, I know.
About
say
the
something
Knicks?
good about the
Imagine.
Knicks. Yeah, we're bashing the Knicks.
Oh, I'm
Frank,
I'm
Frank
not saying that,
Monstra,
but
I'm
we're
thinking of
bashing.
you.
Andy
good
Andy
to be
Zoo, I'm thinking of you. Mets, Jets,
Poor
Knicks,
guys.
and Islanders.
I don't even
You're
know.
too late for the Islanders. They won a lot, and then they just stopped.
Yeah.
The Mets.
You still got some hope.
I'll,
You got a
yeah,
little
we
Mets
got
have a
little
lot of
We
hope.
got a little hope.
Next few
the
years, you
Knicks,
got hope.
forget it. Just throw it in for the Knicks.
When are they going to be good?
Do you know what's
When are they going to be good? What? Tell me something that looks good in the future for the Knicks.
Porzingis.
Right now, nothing.
But
Porzingis.
he didn't have the.
Porzingis
he want-
not
he
enough.
He
did
did
do
not
better
step
than what
up
he
as
did,
much
yes.
as you wanted.
When you're
to.
7 feet tall and you're averaging 7 rebounds a game, that's a problem.
He does play better on defense than.
No, he does
expected.
play
But
better.
good.
He's
But
not
you're
terrible
right. He needs
defensively.
more
They're going to
rebounds.
need a lot,
And
though.
you know what?
They need a center.
Look,
they need a point guard. They need a lot.
Russell Westbrook is 5'10". How tall is Westbrook? Is he 6 feet, something like that?
Maybe 6. Maybe, yeah. I mean, he's tall for a
not-
point guard. For a point guard.
Regardless, he's averaging 11 rebounds a game. Porzingis is 7'9". He's averaging 7 rebounds a game. There's something wrong with that.
Athlete.
I'm sorry.
He's a freak, though.
All right.
Who?
With the
Westbrook.
Westbrook.
the Knicks,
He's a freak point guard.
I'm a teacher, right? So where I
Yes.
teach,
Yes.
there are no Knicks fans. It's actually sad.
Nets?
Who's going to be a Knicks
No,
fan?
no, nobody is a Knicks fan.
Who's going to be a
That's
Knicks
sad,
fan?
though.
It's
But
sad.
think about
They
the
have a really
generation that's
good-
coming. Yeah,
The what you call it? The MSG always packed, though, right?
which
Still-
I wish it wouldn't
Yeah,
be packed.
You know why?
Send
it's
a
packed?
message
Because it's in the city
Yeah.
and it's a thing to do.
Exactly.
To be, let's go
I
to a Knicks
wish
game.
it
I'm in New
wasn't
York,
packed.
you
Send
know?
a message that we are sick of the product that you're putting out there. You're not going to make the money from us, and you got to put something out better than
What's
that.
his name? What's his name?
Because
Phil
Jackson.
Phil
yeah,
Jackson.
yeah.
Wasn't
What
he
has
supposed
done?
to change this around?
Yeah,
He's
and-
made it worse.
And he made it.
The worst thing they did was get rid of Walsh.
Yeah,
Walsh was upset.
And you know
not
why
get
they
rid
got rid of
him.
Walsh?
It was a
Carmelo
Anthony
trade, yeah.
They traded Gallinari. They should have never. He did not want that trade to happen.
He didn't.
He was doing
and
everything
Dolan,
he was
and
supposed
Dolan
to free him
overrode
up, and Dolan overruled him. overrode him. Is that even a
Ruled
word?
him, overruled him. You were
Excuse
right.
me.
You got it right. I got it wrong.
And since then, it's been kind of a downward spiral. Granted, they had that 1 year when they lost to Indiana.
When Carmelo first came to the team.
Yes, when
Yeah.
they had
Oh,
Felton
they had
and they had a good
Amari.
team and Amari.
Right, they had Amari. Yeah.
I mean, it's really tough to be a Knick fan these days,
Let's work
Yeah.
6-3.
especially
And
in
who
New
would wanna
York.
be-
It's the mecca of basketball.
Who would want to be a Knicks fan? But you're 100% right. Who?
No, it
what are
bothers
the-
me. It bothers
No.
me. You're from New York. You're
I
supposed to
want-
be a Knick or Net fan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, look at the product they're both putting
I
out
don't
there.
care. You got Met fans
Who would you
dying
rather-
for years. You kidding me?
Who would you rather be, a Net fan or a Knicks fan right now?
If you live in
I
Brooklyn,
mean,
does
but
it
No,
no.
no.
Wouldn't you
In
rather? Wouldn't you rather be a
In
Net fan because a Knicks fan's been dying for years?
Well, but then the
Knicks
Nets
fans got to be.
dead,
I'm a
too.
Nets fan over a Knicks fan. I'm not a Knicks fan.
I
I'm
didn't
a
know
Nets
that.
fan
Since when?
because I was never brought up as a Knicks fan.
Who'd you
Actually, my
root for as
father
a
never
kid?
really liked basketball at all. So when I grew up, I used to like Darius Miles, and I liked the Cavaliers.
Darius Miles.
When Darius Miles was on the Cavaliers, when
Well,
he
you really lucked out with the Cavaliers. Quentin Richardson.
Quentin Richardson.
You really lucked out with the Cavaliers. You liked them for
Oh
Darius Miles.
my
All of a sudden,
God.
they got the greatest basketball player of our generation.
And
yeah,
then
no,
you-
I looked at
and then you didn't
but
like
then,
them.
but then the Nets became the Brooklyn Nets. So I was like, you know what? They're the Brooklyn Nets. I don't really have a true team because Cavaliers, I like them. I've always liked them, but
Yeah.
they weren't like my team. Like I love them. So I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, really. If I'm going to watch and if I'm going to root for somebody, it's the Brooklyn Nets and the Cavaliers.
The Nets are actually doing a little bit better than the Knicks. I don't know what they're doing
But they've been tortured for years, these Knicks fans.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I mean, I don't know.
because they
It's-
can't even lose
it's
right.
worse than the Mets,
Like
to be
Wynn said,
honest.
they
Worse
can't
than
even
the Mets.
lose right. Oh, it
Definitely
is
worse than
without a doubt worse than the Mets. It is the worst New York franchise we have. You're probably better off being
I don't
a
know.
New
The
York.
Islanders.
The Islanders made the playoffs last year.
I know, but the Knicks made the playoffs when Carmelo first came to the team. It's the same.
All right. Well, this
You know,
is
same thing.
it's close, but the Islanders won 4 in a row in the '80s. The Knicks
I know,
have
that's
2
true,
in
that's
their-
true.
Except
The Knicks have 2 in their franchise history.
When was that? When was that?
70 and 73.
70 and 73.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a long
Wow.
time. It's been a long time.
And in the 90s, they were good. I remember watching them. They were really good in the 90s.
You understand that
But they
everyone...
always got beat by Indiana or Miami.
Chicago. No,
How
Jordan.
about Chicago.
Jordan.
They
Jordan
beat,
just...
they
Oh, no,
usually
they beat Miami. But
Yeah.
but
They
Indiana,
lost when
they
they were
used to
down
lose to
3-1.
Reggie Miller all the time. Reggie Miller used to
and
kill him.
Jordan ruined a lot of people's careers. But
I mean, if you really think about it, it was Jordan, Olajuwon. That was the Knicks' chance.
Yeah.
Wait, the Knicks went
John
once,
Starks
right?
played-
In the 90s? Or how many times? Once to the
They-
championship.
They
in
went once.
94 and
They went once.
99, no, they went twice. They went in 99, the
Right, in the
lockout
short-
season.
short season.
Okay,
They lost
and-
to Duncan.
Who'd they lose to the first time?
The Rockets.
Rockets,
Olajuwon.
right.
Starks with 3 of 18, right? Was 3 of 18?
Oh, yeah, that was,
That was the O.J.
22.
Simpson.
Yeah. I
That was
know.
during the O.J.
I
Simpson.
don't
They
think it was
cut
that
to it.
game.
It
but
wasn't that game.
Yeah,
It was during that series.
Yeah. Well, that was 94. You got
That's
the Rangers, you got the
that's
Knicks
a great
and OJ.
documentary. Ever seen
Yeah,
that?
yeah. June 15th,
Summer
1994
'94
something?
on
Oh,
the
they
summer
did-
'94 on MSG. You watched that?
Well, they did a 30 for 30.
That's great. I was only what?
Does it-
we were
was it
7,
30 for
8 years
30?
old.
7, yeah.
7 years
No,
old.
they did a
I don't really
30 for
remember it
30
that
too,
well.
but
Oh, it's
that's
old?
fine.
What? No.
That-
I'm saying
oh.
94. I remember as a kid.
I
but
remember
don't
barely,
all
yeah.
the
I remember as
details.
well,
I was
yeah.
7. I say this to you guys all the time. My first sports memory that I can vividly remember is Griffey rounding the bases.
Yes, me
Really
too.
one
against
of the
the
only
Yankees.
ones I can
I,
think
I'm
of.
Jay
95.
Buhner.
I'll never forget. I was
95.
I was 8 years old watching the game in my old house, and
In the dome?
after they scored, he hit it. I'm like, oh no. And you see Griffey just
Yeah.
digging around there, and I just put my head down. I started to cry, and I put the blanket over my head, and I started to cry.
I remember my parents couldn't stand Brent Musburger. He did the game. They thought he was jinxing the Yankees the whole time.
Wait, was that Mattingly's last?
That was
That's
batting.
Mattingly's last
Hang
game.
on to the roof. Gary Thorne when he gets one out in game
Yeah.
2. That's awesome. That's one of those moments that gets you don't really
And
remember because they lost that series.
And you know, we had a
Yeah.
home run in that game too.
Who hit on Liritz?
Yeah,
Liritz.
guy
No,
always,
that was
always
clutch.
hit a good playoff home run. Or
Send this guy to a
His
resort.
wacky-
Bob Costas,
Send
right?
this guy to. I think it called him. He said in '99 he had a home run.
99, yeah.
And
Against the
Costa
Braves.
said, send this guy to a resort for the whole year and bring him back for October. That's all he does. Hit
That's
home
all he
runs
does.
in the playoffs.
We were very spoiled as kids with the Yankees.
Well, yeah, in the 90s.
Well,
yeah,
that's
of
why when
course.
you look back on the Knicks, you realize, what was I going to say? The Knicks, you don't realize that drought, that's a long,
That's a
long
long drought.
drought.
That's a long drought.
Like, that's going, people talk about, like, obviously, like, the Cubs broke their drought, and obviously that's longer than anything. But now we're looking at 44 years.
Yeah, but you know what's good about the
We're
drought?
looking at 44
There's
years
always
now?
one thing good about it.
44
though.
years is a lot.
Yeah. Well, but there's one good thing good about it because obviously we're spoiled with the
Yeah,
Yankees.
you
but
gotta
with the
get a
Giants,
payoff.
I wasn't spoiled
No,
because
we weren't,
I didn't remember the '90 Super Bowl.
No,
of course
we
not.
were
I don't
three.
remember anything about
We
it.
were three.
We were 3 years old. So,
My
but I'm
first
saying
quarterback,
when
I
the
remember,
Giants won that Super Bowl, the first one, I never felt anything like it. That was unbelievable.
Yeah,
I was
I
going nuts.
agree.
So imagine if the Knicks win an NBA championship. Do you know how crazy diehard Knicks fans are going to go. It's going to feel amazing for them. So that's the good thing about being in a drought is that when it eventually happens, when it finally happens, it's going to feel great. Yeah,
we have.
We got spoiled things like 2009 when we won. It's like I was happy, but I wasn't like it wasn't like a giant Super Bowl, like the first giant Super Bowl, or even the second giant Super Bowl.
We got about 8 minutes left, and I want to pose this, I guess, to the people watching. A lot of New Yorkers watch this show. I guess you said, what would be your best sports memory as a kid or even as an adult, as a New York sports fan? I know we've spoken about this before.
It could be any.
And
guys, feel free. Any comments, questions? We'll love to bring you guys in. Love to hear what you think.
Final
I think the
10
three of us are agreeing with 2007 New York Giants. I mean, as a
we're
Giant
Giants,
fan,
Yankees
but we're Giants fans. They beat an 18-0 Patriots team. It's never going to happen again.
And they beat the Packers in Lambeau, freezing.
That was
field goals
unbelievable. Every game I thought was going to get better.
Every
They
game
beat
was
the
unbelievable.
Cowboys. He threw the interception. W. McCoy. Like, this is a win. This is a great game.
There couldn't have been
Then
a
they go
better
to the
playoff
Packers.
run
Then they go to
than
the
that.
Packers. They beat them in overtime after
Corey
Favre throws
Webster.
an interception. Lawrence Tynes missed 2 field goals, then hits the field goal.
Right.
Burst was unbelievable that game.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets that in the cold. That was like,
Tom Coughlin looked like a beaten tomato.
Yeah.
His face.
He was about to explode.
Then you think, oh, that was a great game. At least we made the Super Bowl. We faced 18. And then it was even better.
And we lost to New England that game,
Yeah.
the last game of the season.
Yeah.
And to get that revenge, kill down the defeat. I mean, nothing's better than that.
Manning gets out of the tackle, throws it up.
Except
Tyreek.
I do have to say one thing, and I know you guys are going to get mad at me, but when Italy won the World Cup in 2006 for me, that rivaled that feeling for me. I know you're going to look at me like that, but it really did. I mean, that's one of my fondest memories,
Where do you live?
sports memories ever. I live in the United States. But
Where were you
I'm
born?
also
No, this will ask.
Where were you born?
Well, this
Brooklyn,
will
New York.
This will ask. I was very excited when Italy won. One, I watched it with my mother too, and I watched it.
I watched it like 15
Yeah,
people.
exactly. 2, but I can't put it near football because I'm going to ask you, how much soccer do you watch during?
I mean, I don't watch club soccer that much. I don't have time. I watch baseball and football.
Okay, so you don't watch
So
club
you don't
soccer.
watch
So what?
No, but I watch
Foreign soccer.
international soccer.
Yeah, how much?
Which happens
international
once every
soccer?
4 years.
No, it goes on during
Yeah, I
the
know,
You watch the
Euro
friendlies?
Cup.
You watch the
No,
friendlies?
and they do qualification
You
games.
watch the qualifications?
Some of them, yeah. Italy's put in the group with Spain. They're doing all right. I mean, they got
Name 3 guys in Italy. quick.
Yeah.
I can make name a million guys on it. Daniele.
No, this
Rossi,
is 'cause you
Gianluigi
play FIFA.
Buffon.
We hardly
No,
cover national sports on this show. So far, so
you can't do this to me now. Yeah, you can't do this
right
to me.
now.
Speaking
But I
of,
will say this.
I watch every.
Well,
Obviously,
producer,
you guys are the
let's get your
Giants-
sports memory. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's.
you guys are Giants Yankee fans.
You're Met,
and the control
Jet.
board are Jets Mets fans here.
Jet Matt.
Let's hear this memory
I will say this.
What's
even
the best
though
memory?
I'm not one of the haters. I do root for New York sports.
When we almost
Watching
won.
the Giants beat the Patriots was an amazing as close to. So I don't know what it's like to win a championship, so I guess that's what it would feel
Wow.
like.
Poor guy.
They don't know what it's
Just
like.
Just with Brady losing, because
Yes.
I couldn't see that.
That's rough.
So hold on. Is that your best sports memory?
No.
it's not
Okay,
my best.
thank-
The Mets.
what- wait,
Gotta be a Mets.
Hold on.
I've never seen a championship.
So what's your best
What's your-
sports memory?
What's your best sports memory?
I guess the Mets going to the World Series last year when I had a few Mets fans.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, 2015.
Robin Ventura.
Oh, Robin
That was great when
Ventura.
They beat the Braves, the Grand Slam single.
Yeah,
But they lost that series, though.
they lost that series, and they almost won that series. They came back from 3-0.
I know.
Subway Series will never. I think no one will ever forget that in this city. That was amazing.
Well,
That was
you should-
amazing.
You
You
should
lost.
forget about it. By the way, why are you remembering
Just
it?
the whole vibe of the
Subway
city leading up to it. You know,
What
we
about-
don't have a championship? So it's
Yeah,
leading
he's
up
got
to
it.
it.
What about
Leading
Jets?
up to it.
What about the
So-
Jets? What about the Jets coming so close to beating the
Oh,
Colts?
my gosh.
And then what about the Jets beating the Patriots?
Beating Brady and
Can't wait. What's
Jets
going?
beating Brady and Manning that year was pretty incredible.
Yeah. What about
You
yeah,
know you got a lot of problems.
when you got to pick
When you pick out of a
divisional
playoff
round,
game.
divisional playoff round.
Poor guy.
That's rough. That's rough. You got.
Listen, Paul, you get a pass. It's all right. You get a pass. Although I do remember in 8th grade him coming in when the Mets finally beat the Yankees, when they beat him Game 3. He came with like a little broom, and it said "no sweep" on it with a little piece of paper. This guy's so happy just to win.
I don't even remember.
I remember that distinctly
Paul
because
was so-
it broke the Yankees streak of like 14 World Series games in a
wins,
row.
yeah. 'Cause
And
they-
you came in,
they
I'll never
swept
forget,
the
with like
Padres
a little broom and a piece of paper that said "no sweep." In my head, I'm like, I remember making fun of him, being like,
He was
he was so happy with one World Series win.
All right, come on. No one got a sports memory they want to share with us. You got Paul's embarrassing amount of that. He's just excited that they lost 4-1. Both World Series he talked about, they lost 4-1. They were able to win one game. You realize
Well,
Yeah.
well, the Royal Series was
that? Well, Familia
it
blew
was a
3
shame.
saves.
Yeah. As a Yankee fan, but I like I said, I root for the Mets, and it was a shame as they had the games won. Like
They blew 3 saves.
You couldn't ask for really a better. I mean, you could ask for more runs, I guess, but the games were right there, and to lose games like that was heartbreaking.
That's heartbreaking. I remember the one. What was the one
Yankee
where
fan.
We're not
where,
going to just talk about the Mets.
where Beltran
Like,
Cade
we're failing right now.
looking
Please.
to end it?
His legs buckling against the Cardinals in Game 7.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh my God,
I gotta
that
say,
was brutal.
I gotta say, hold on. I gotta say though,
That was brutal.
I gotta say that the Yankees had lost to the Tigers that year, so I was watching. It was exclusively Mets, and I watched that with Met fans. Mark Liptus and Matt Castle, you're out there, and I gotta say that catch by Andy Chavez could be the best catch I saw live.
That's
It's
just the greatest catch
the
in a playoff
playoffs?
game of
Yeah,
all time.
but
It's better
also
than
that
Willie
I watch
Mays.
it
In the playoffs.
the situation of it all. 6th inning tied 1-1, and he reached up and
I know.
that was
Barely got
unbelievable. But you know what? Unfortunately, it's the Mets to
lost.
lose that game.
know.
Now that catch goes
I
down,
know.
it doesn't get the love it deserves because that was
I don't know if
catch.
in baseball the best team always wins. I don't know if that's the
that
case.
doesn't happen in any sport. We
No,
just talk
no.
about the Giants.
Basketball, I think a lot of
We
times
talk about the
best team
Giants
always wins.
beating the 18-0 Patriots.
Oh,
Patriots-
football for sure.
If the Patriots win that game, they're the best team of all time.
Pretty successful in the last, I think, 7 playoff appearances in a row with the New York Rangers.
Rangers?
Hockey.
Rangers Canadians.
That's true. We
Again.
did have
They've been
Well,
successful. Yeah.
We'll touch on that next week.
But they
little
We're
bit.
gonna,
can't-
we're gonna touch on
they
the
can't finish.
we're gonna touch NHL players are starting Wednesday. We're definitely gonna
Yeah,
touch
we
on
gotta touch
that.
on that.
They can't finish. They were in the finals
Well,
3 years ago.
and they lost.
I know, but
they
that's
lost
what I'm
2
saying.
games in multiple overtimes.
Terrible. Dan Girardi
Well,
giveaway
NHL
goal.
playoffs is a tough road.
That was a killer. It was game 1, but it was a killer.
NHL playoffs is a tough road to go through.
Listen,
That's a tough road.
we don't really have time to get
we
into
don't have
hockey
time.
right now.
We
We'll
actually
get
don't
into
have
it
time.
next
We actually
wanna
don't have time
finish
for
up?
anything. But everybody, think of your sports memories. Let's get it in if we can. But we're gonna have to.
Can I
we
bring
are-
up something? Can we just talk about random stuff right now?
You got a minute. You got 40
What was I
seconds.
going to say? Your boy, Ryan Zimmerman. We're going back to baseball here.
Ryan Zimmerman.
Ryan Zimmerman hitting
That's what you wanna end with?
hitting 333, 3 homers, 6 RBIs. Maybe a little comeback. I just wanted to bring that up. Talk about hot guys before.
There
Maybe
we
talk
go.
about who's surprising. That's pretty surprising.
Ryan Zimmerman, guys. You heard it there. Ryan Zimmerman. Go
Zimmerman.
out and get him.
No, I'm not saying that, but you know,
Well,
surprising.
that is going to be our last note. Our last note is going to be Ryan Zimmerman, guys.
That's
So Ryan
sad.
Zimmerman.
We got a
we
better
went.
one?
We went from Giants beating the 18-0 Patriots, going to be the last note, to Ryan Zimmerman. But Ryan Zimmerman, guys, thank you for joining us again. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for another edition of Bridgeside Live. We got Amanda Fama on, another great solo act with a cello player actually with it as well. So a nice little strings orchestra. I played cello in high school, just letting you guys know that, for 1 semester with Kyle Del Bianco. So
shouldn't have said that.
we should all tune that in. That's going to be great. Want to wish everyone a happy holidays, Passover, Easter, whoever's
Same to
celebrating.
you, buddy.
And
Happy holidays.
for all of us here at Bridgeside Live, we'll see you, Bridgeside Sports, see you next week.